350 years ago, a Spanish fleet of 28 ships set sail from Havana, Cuba to Spain. To the sailors' horror, a hurricane overtook the fleet and pounded the ships for 2 days. Most of the boats luckily made safe passage through the shallow reefs of the Florida Keys. 2 royal treasure ships were not so fortunate. The Margarita and the Atocha went to a watery grave in the area of the Marquesas off to Key West. 5 people survived the wreck of the Atocha, but 260 didn't. Also taken to the bottom 55 feet from the surface was 7,175 ounces of gold, bars and coins of silver amounting to over 47 tons. Due to the efforts of Mel Fisher, his family, and staff, the mother lode was finally discovered on July 20, 1985. Key West, the southernmost point in the continental U.S., juts 150 miles south of Miami into the Caribbean. It's a laid-back city with a charm all its own. With its near-perfect weather, visitors pour to the Conch Republic to enjoy. A home for Hemingway, Tennessee Williams, Audubon, and a summer White House for President Truman, Key West became the home base, too, for Mel Fisher and his efforts to discover the enormous riches of the sunken Spanish fleet. Ignoring personal sorrow and disappointment, Fisher found the gold. A visitor to Key West can share the excitement by visiting Mel's Museum in Key West. Tanya Tucker, Bertie Higgins, and Bob Lord arrived ready for adventure.
We're here at the Mel Fisher Maritime Heritage Society in Key West, Florida. And you know who Tanya and Bertie are, of course. But I'd like to introduce you to a fellow that is kind of the chief cook and bottle washer when it comes to the Maritime Society. This is Pat Klein. He takes all the pictures, does a lot of diving, and knows everybody in this room.
Hi, Bobby. Welcome to Key West.
Thanks.
Glad you could make it. We've got some nice glitter stuff here for you to take a look at. I'd like you to meet some of the people who made this whole thing work in our 16-year endeavor to find the Atocha. I'd like to introduce you to this gentleman on my left, who is our attorney. He's taken our case all the way to the Supreme Court and won. Mr. Dave Horan.
Welcome down, Key West, and you've come down here on a really historic occasion. Today is the 3rd year of the finding of the main part of the Atocha. It's also 20 years after Mel Fisher started looking for it. And the nice thing about it is that we were able to go ahead and prove that people could have a dream and make it come true, and I'm real proud of that.
All right.
Oh, yes, sir.
Yeah.
And this is the director of the Mel Fisher Maritime Heritage Society, John McGarry.
And I'd like to welcome you all here to the museum. I'd also like to mention that we're going to be preparing a national traveling tour to take this treasure out to the people all over the United States.
And this little sweetheart here is Mel Fisher's personal secretary. I wish I could say she's mine, but this is Judy Sojourner.
Well, on behalf of the Fisher family, I'd like to, you know, say we're glad to have you here, and we're glad to have the country music and the treasure kind of combining together, and it's great. Thank you.
All right.
And Bob, this is the rest of our group here who made it all happen over 16 years. This is our support group back here.
Hey, that's
All
great.
right,
That is great,
yeah.
Let's give them a hand.
And somebody just delivered some balloons, and I think to celebrate the 3rd anniversary, why don't we sing Happy Birthday?
Hey, great idea.
Right.
Ready?
Happy
birthday to you.
8 different keys.
Birthday to you. Happy
birthday,
dear Atocha. Happy birthday to you.
Hey, group, come on over here. I want to show you something. First, I'd like to introduce you to Mel Fisher's real treasure. This is Taffy Fisher, and she just got into the office here today with her briefcase, and come on over here and take a look.
How'd you like to try some of this on?
Oh, wow.
This is a 67-foot gold chain my brother Kane found.
Oh, my goodness. Oh, this is gorgeous.
This is a money chain. I used to use this
To buy things.
to buy things. You could bend off a link and go to the market and get a month's worth of groceries.
All right. I bet you can still do that. Oh, my.
Most people think when you find sunken treasure, it's a lot of glitter on the bottom, but what happens is that a lot of it is silver, and silver oxidizes and turns black. What we have here is a case of about 2,000 silver coins that was in a wooden box. And as the ship hit the reef, the box broke open and all the coins laid down on the reef, they all fused together because of the electrolytic qualities of the ocean, and over the centuries, this is what it looked like. What we have here is one of our finer pieces that were found. It was almost lost, unfortunately. It was in this silver case, which was completely blackened, and it was found with a metal detector underwater, and the diver who found it thought it was an old sardine can. He was about to toss it away when he heard something jingle inside.
Wow.
Brought it to the surface, opened it up, and started to pour out the water, and the sun hit the emerald, and it just glowed.
Boy, I bet he was surprised.
This is one of our divers working down on the site using a metal detector. Because the objects become encrusted, they're very hard to determine exactly what they are, and if they have any metal in them, we use these detectors and it pinpoints it right away. This is a diorama of what it looks like on the bottom when we find some structure. We have our archaeologists down there, and they set up a grid system of PVC and make photo mosaics of the structure. We do our archaeological work down there, set up stadia rods and poles to do the measuring of the timbers before they're brought up.
Is this the kind of boat we can expect to see tomorrow in Fort Pierce?
Yes, Bob, this is. This is exactly the boat. This is the Virgilona. It's been in our employ for about 24 years. It's probably found more gold than any treasure hunting boat in the world. We'll actually be on the Endeavor, which is working right next to the Virgilona in Mo. And I understand John's on a real hot spot up there, so with a little bit of luck, we may find some of that treasure ourselves.
And then we're going back to the Keys to dive, right?
Yeah, right after we find all that treasure up there, if we get lucky, then we're going to come back and we're going to dive on the Atocha site.
Oh, that's so exciting. I can't wait.
Great. Great. Yes, sir. Hey.
Bertie Higgins, John. Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you. John Tucker, John.
Nice to meet you.
Towels? Anybody want towels?
Nice to meet you.
How long have you been working this particular dive?
Well, Mel Fisher actually found this wreck in 1964 and found thousands and thousands of gold coins. And then just recently we've started working it again in the last year or so. Myself and Mo Molinar and Harold Holden have found hundreds of gold coins this summer and beautiful pieces of jewelry, and really it's been a really good summer for us.
Have you found any jewels on this at all? Like on the Atocha, you found the emeralds and the Bishop's
Yeah, we found
Cross.
lots of, this year we haven't, but on previous summers south of here we found lots of emerald rings, emerald brooches, all kinds of sapphires, diamonds, all kinds of magnificent pieces of jewelry.
A jewelry store about 100 yards offshore, right?
Hey, that's it.
What kind of area does this encompass?
Well, the area we're working now is not very big. It's a pretty good area to dive in. All the water's a little cloudy and everything, but if you guys think you might want to give it a try and get in the water and get wet.
Yeah.
All I want to know is, do you need another crew member?
No free samples. No free samples.
Oh, come on now, John. Really?
I'll just quit the road and come with you guys.
Yeah. Okay, well, we're all going to get suited up here and give it a try, but remember the water's kind of cloudy, a little dirty, and we're down there working, trying to find some gold, but let's everybody get in and get an idea what it's like. Let's go treasure hunt.
Okay, I'm ready, guys. How about it?
Sports Sundays at 5:30 Eastern, 2:30 p.m. Pacific on TNN.
Yeah, but Kona was great.
You got some in there.
Yeah, there's some in a pocket.
Right on back.
I may be back.
Jump right on it.
Hey! I got some dollars. Look, sand dollars.
Hey, that's great.
That was great, man.
Super.
Not real clear. I wish I had my spear gun with me.
You find any gold?
Big old school of sheephead down there. I'd like to get some of. It's really unusual, man. It's how it's set up. It amazes me is how they determine that it's a wreck, because it's just a lot of rock, small rock ledges and cliffs.
Really?
It's real neat, though. I had a good time. Yeah.